for the broadcast of this. So we're just going to give it one more second, make sure everyone can get on okay, and we'll get started. For the broadcast. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, why are we here tonight? Well, this is a topic that I am pretty darn excited about. We are going to be talking tonight about multiple six-figure incomes and business planning for that. I think it's great if you have some ideas out there about what you want to do with your business plan, but if it's not multidimensional, it kind of falls by the wayside when things get busy, or you're just not motivated to even really from the beginning do it. Because a six-figure income in real estate, the first year that I hit six figures in my sales and my commissions, it was a game changer for me, but I wasn't consistent in my activities. And so what I want to do tonight is several different things. I want to start off, I'm going to share my screen. I have a whole presentation for you this evening, so we're going to hopefully stick to my outlines. So let's go ahead and start from the top on this as to why we are here. So I've got a little slideshow for you. Hopefully it's not too cheesy. So what are we here for? Six-figure income streams for realtors, really maximizing the exit opportunity, but more importantly, your opportunity as a licensed real estate agent. And so what I want to kind of pull and extract from everybody tonight, including myself, is where are we? I wouldn't even call it falling short. What are we missing? What are we not doing? And so I identified some issues I've had in coaching, both as a coaching student. I'm a student of the core training, as many of you know, but also as your coach, some of you that use me regularly. We struggled with your business plan this year. And I think part of it was we got so busy in the actual business, we weren't working on the business. But more than that, I want to go back to kind of the basics of why I'm here and why hopefully a lot of you are here, is that I wanted to kind of fix some of the issues in the real estate industry. My first decade in the business was a mess. From 1998 to 2008, I was constantly broke, not paying my bills. Even when I'd make money, then the next 6 months would be terrible. It was up and down, yo-yo, and it was a disaster. And I hated it. And I tried 3 different companies, and I said, I have to either make this next one, which was exit, work, or my exit strategy is going to be, I'm going to leave the industry. And when I came to exit, I said, this has got to work, and I want to fix some things that are broken. The issue for realtors more than anything else is we don't build up for retirement. We have low savings. Even the highest earners, that's why the core training came into existence. Even the highest earners, they had terrible savings. They weren't prepared for retirement. They didn't have any real estate income. They didn't have multiple income streams. And that brings up point 2. Agents frequently fail to invest in real estate for themselves. So we're out there bragging to everybody else about how great real estate is as an investment. We don't own any real estate. Why? Because maybe you're not at the right crossroads of the business. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, is preparing more and extracting more from yourself in order to get there. But if you don't have a plan, you are planning on failing. So here are some of the big fails that I've experienced personally and corrected over time. Number 1, no business plan. If you don't have a business plan, you are again planning to fail. I can't help you if you don't have a business plan. I can help you build a business plan, but if we coach 3 or 4 times and there's still no business plan, I don't know where you're going. You're rudderless. I can't help you from the ship across the way if I don't even know where you're trying to go. See what I'm saying? Second thing, short-sighted or one-dimensional business plan. What is a one-dimensional business plan? You just told me to get a business plan, Nick. What's a one-dimensional one? Why don't you like those? I'll tell you what a one-dimensional business plan is. I'm going to buy Zillow leads. Nothing wrong with Zillow leads. For those that are going to play this later or watching on YouTube, like, I thought Nick liked Zillow. I don't personally pay for Zillow leads. I haven't paid for leads in a long time, but I did, and I saw them work. But if that is your only plan, you are pretty one-dimensional. What if your only plan is to hang out at a bar or restaurant or two? Boy, I had that business plan for many years. It worked out okay for a while. You can't depend on one vendor, one establishment, one source of leads to have a business. And then if you do get a business plan that has multifacets to it, Is that it? Or what about investing in real estate? What about saving for retirement? I want to start stretching you guys a little bit. And again, extracting. I sent several templates we're going to go over in a bit out to exit strategy agents. If you're not with exit strategy, we'll show them to you here. But the exit strategy agents do have them in their inbox. We'll talk a little bit more about each one of those individually in a second. But a short-sighted or one-dimensional business plan is an issue. Here's another issue. Even a beautiful business plan that sits in a drawer is useless, because some of the best laid plans that sit in like my desk drawer here, they don't do anything later. Okay. They don't do anything later. Please mute yourself. Whoever just came in, welcome. If they're unused, if they're unreviewed after creation, they are useless. You know, we are now 7 months into the year. Next Monday, exit strategy agents and anybody that follows us on Eventbrite knows that next Monday we're talking about lead funnels. Next Monday is August 1st. We're 8 months into the year next Monday. Do you think it may be time to review your business plan? Tonight, I'm going to poke and prod at you a little bit and at myself about what we should be tracking, what fell by the wayside, and why even my outline business plan, kind of the exit strategy classic that I've been using since 2008, needs to be a little bit better thought out, a little bit less one-dimensional. A business plan with no measurement for success is, it's kind of one-dimensional. It is hard to keep yourself accountable. So tonight, I've built out, using the 4x4 template, specific activities we're going to track, okay? Specific activities we're going to track. And wouldn't it be great if you would track those before our next business planning coaching session, okay? Now, so this is the solution I've come up with. And again, no solution is perfect, just like no problem is unsolvable. It is the multi-dimensional business plans. What is that? It means several pieces of paper, oh no, or several screens to look at. But I'm going to ask you to do it because it's what I've been using in order to figure out what is right and wrong in my business. This is not exactly what the core training taught me. It is kind of a modified version of it, given that we want to invest in real estate, given that most of us are at exit and use the residuals to either spend on vacations and do other fun stuff, sometimes pay your bills, or if you're now working more in a mode like myself, like Andy Orgazali, congratulations. I just posted about him being the latest to cap at the office. He bought his first property, partially with residuals, turned around and then now sold the property years later after he renovated it. Now he's looking for a multi-unit building. You can do some really cool things with the residuals. It's not exactly something that came from someone else. I had to rebuild the templates a little bit around that. Everything at Exit Strategy is built into quadrants. It kind of started out accidental, and then I realized it, and then I started building out Project X around that. So the 4x4 template is what we're going to use all night tonight. I'm sorry if you don't like it, you're going to be stuck in it all night. But there is several pieces to it. And I want to also remind everybody that even if you're not at Exit Strategy, I'm sure you're hopefully on some sort of tiered commission plan. Here's what I've broken down for us now. You are at one of 4 experience levels with us. If you're brand new, so if you have less than 10 career deals, sales and leasing combined, you are
just like until she publicly comes out.
Hi, whoever that is,
and
mute yourself. I appreciate you, but please mute yourself. Thank you. Okay, let me see where we were in the screens. So that's a new agent. Little to no database. You need basic tools like a CRM, like Zenlist, our app for clients and us. Probably don't have a website yet. All the basic stuff. You're new. That's okay. 70-30 split as a new agent. My goal is to get you out of that dimension and get you into a very least an emerging agent dimension. And what we're going to talk about tonight with the business plans is to make sure that you are progressing always and growing always. I call it betterment. Okay. Emerging agents, over 10 career deals, that's sales and leasing combined. You may have 500 people in your database. You're starting to work referrals and other sources of business. we're going to focus tonight. One of the templates is the lead template. And that is really trying to extract from you the same way I'm trying to extract from myself. Where are we not doing the work? Because if you're doing the work and you're hitting 100,000 GCI, are you capped? Congratulations. You may have stopped prospecting in other areas. I'm going to encourage you tonight to go back to them, because here's what probably is going to make a couple people mad. If you're at an 80-20 split with us, that means you've done at least 10 career deals. I'm going to call you just an emerging agent. Oh no, I said the word just an emerging agent, because you are still not where I would love to see you be. Because if you're capping, if you're hitting 100,000 gross commission income, which by the way, even a couple of our part-time agents have done this. If you are capping, I find it to be magical, because number one, you go to 100% commission, so you love that. Number two, it is a natural time to turn around and go, I'm really busy. I probably need to build a team, or I'm really busy and I want to share what I'm doing because this is pretty cool. And I want to help other people. That is when you become, in my opinion, we're going to call now an experienced agent. You've hit 100,000 gross commission income. At that point, this year and beyond, an exit strategy, we take you not only to that 100% split for the rest of the year, no fees. So if you're listening to this and you're at another place that caps you, but you're still paying $50, $100, $150 per transaction, you're not really capped, okay? You're going to then be at an 85% base split until you cap every year after that. That's a reward we want to give you as an acknowledgement that you've capped at least once. Because we know in a tough year, if it was an easy year, what year is ever easy? But if in a year that we all were making money and the banks were lending and the interest rates were super low, you may have capped, but the next year, maybe you had something else go on in your life. Maybe it had nothing to do with the real estate market conditions. I want to still acknowledge that you capped at least once. So those experienced agents, that's what we're going to call you if you've capped at least once. The biggest push tonight I want you to also think about is the entrepreneur level. What is that? That is when you've not only capped, but you've got enough in residual bonuses coming in to be over 100% split. But think about the math, guys. Once you capped at least 1 year, this year and beyond, you're at an 85% base split. Well, you only really need 2 or 3 people brought into the company to be over 100%. I'm going to focus tonight on, if you're going to do that, not spending those residual bonuses. Go to residual bonuses, they're referrals. You referred someone to the company, and so you're getting part of the company's dollar on that until they cap out. An entrepreneur level split, I think your responsibility to yourself is to start investing in real estate or in mutual funds, stocks, bonds, something besides blowing all the money. Something besides blowing all the money. So let's get into some of these templates, guys. The end goal of this, multiple 6-figure income streams and 0 debt. Maybe your only debt is your real estate investment mortgages, but that is what I committed to when I joined this company. It was not easy. It was not instantaneous by any means. I had lots of stops and starts, but I got there. You need to have a business plan for each income stream. Some of those are passive, right? Each income stream has to have a business plan. The failure of a lot of people, including myself for a long time, was that if we're a great realtor, but we say we want to sponsor other people in the company, do flips, do buy and hold, a vacation home. We say we're going to do it, but if there's no plan, what did we say earlier? You're planning to fail. So I want to use the 4x4 to help you with that and help myself be accountable. All of us are in this together. There's a mastermind with us. I want you to track your assets in each category as you build. Do a profit and loss statement so you're not only focused on gross. This was a big thing with me with Core, was I rolled into that program in 2016 or 2017 thinking that I knew everything about the business and I made a lot of money. I grossed a lot of money. I netted not a lot of money. I wasn't running a business. I was a sales agent and I wasn't thinking like a business owner. They taught me that. So I'm always grateful for that. I want you to do a profit and loss statement. They're right in the coaching blog if you're at our office. I want you to set a yearly goal in each category. I'm going to give you a tool for that in a second. And I want you to update your progress monthly. And then this is a note, this is not easy or quick money. If you are in for easy or quick money, this may not even be the right business for you. Okay. So I'm only in 2 out of the 4 total categories. I've got 6-figure consistent year after year income. All right. So I've got it in sales and I've got it in residuals. By the way, excuse me, my Alexa's going off and telling me the stops for the day, which you can hear that in the background. Sorry about that. So this isn't quick or easy money, guys. It takes a while to do it, but man, is it worth it in the end? Because I got to tell you, if you have a residual income that's huge and you have retirement income that's not just putting money away, but that's earning money on its own, and you have the money from your investments, your real estate investments coming in. Maybe one year you don't hit 100,000 GCI in sales commissions, but you've got money coming in everywhere else. That feels amazing. All right, that feels amazing. So it's worth the time and effort now to plan for the future. So this is not new, this graphic. But though is the baseline. And I can't remember when I had this made, probably 2017, 2018, I had this made, that was when I really, the light bulb went off for me. I go, there's such thing as the money you make by going to work. And then there's mailbox money, which is, money that you get as passive income from rentals, things like that. And then there's even mattress money, which is the money that you make by sleeping in a home you own. Because what is it doing? It's appreciating over time. And also what you owe on it is going down over time if you're paying down on your mortgage. So every single one of these categories, you have to have a business plan. I think you have to have a business plan at this point, even for your retirement, because your retirement includes things like you have to save for taxes, you have tax liabilities. Everything has to have a plan. And so I want you to track, do you even have a plan? Most of you, hopefully in the next 30 days, if you don't already, will have a business plan for your real estate commissions. That should be a baseline. But what about a business plan for your residuals, for your retirement, for your real estate? That's what I want you to track from there. So how do we articulate these? We're about to get into the actual templates. Number 1, the 4x4 money template. I want you to begin articulating your vision. This is hopefully going to be the one that excites you. It's almost like a vision board in a way. We're going to do vision boards as an office for first Fridays for August. So get ready. I love vision boards, and they have been huge in keeping me, or kind of kicking me back on track. Think of a gutter ball that pops back out. If you've ever bowled before, a gutter ball that pops back out and actually it goes and hits some pins. That's kind of my vision board. It gets me out of the gutter. For you, this money template may help you with that. Then secondly, the business tracking template to really start tracking the activity. And then the third one, yes, there's several of these guys. The third one is leads, 4x4 leads template. I want you to start thinking about where your leads are going to come from, because guess what we're going to do next week? We're going to talk about lead funnels. Once they come in, where do they go? Where should I send them? How do I deal with them? That's what we're talking about next week. But I wanted this week to even get you to think about, are you doing enough to get leads? And are they from a healthy variety of areas? So the roadmap becoming to more than an agent, to an entrepreneur, it's not an overnight thing, but we're going to start with these 3 templates. I want you, once they're done, to print them out. I've got right at my desk at home, I've got my whiteboard, and beneath that, it's built into my wall because I'm weird. And then beneath that, I got a bulletin board, and it's stuck there. I keep a copy with me. You can put them on your phone, because these templates also, by the way, they're Google documents. So you can redo these in your phone and have them sitting in there. So let's actually dive into these, because I want to, when I coach you next, I would love to see you have these. So let's go with the money first. So the money one, money. There are 4 big sources of money as a real estate agent. And it's funny because most brokerages talk about one, if that. Your commissions, duh. Okay, that's why we're all in real estate, right? Well, that's part of it. Your commissions, you want to get to 100,000 gross commission income. So you get to 100% commission for the rest of that year. My goal is for everybody to cap. It is tough to cap. It's not easy. Interest rates right now have not made it any easier, but you know what? That's why I'm here. That's why you're here, is we're here to get better. So your commissions are number one. My goal would be that you live off your commissions. Okay. That is that you can healthily live off your commissions. And that's the top template quadrant. Then go to the right, residuals. These need to be saved. I would love it if you save them. The first couple of years I was at Exit, I ate off them because my commissions weren't big enough, right? So commissions, residuals, if you can start putting that money away, the residuals, then you'll be able to turn the next part of the next quadrant, to invest in real estate. Wouldn't that be great if you weren't just an agent, but you were an active investor? Some of you already are, but even those of you that are, do you have, last quadrant to the left, stocks, bonds, and currency? Do you have any money saved? You know, I've been real estate rich and cash poor. That is not fun either. So you want to have multiple things coming in. You've got to have a game plan for each one. But the rest of these are really hard to get when you have no money from coming in from commissions. Because what do we know about residuals? People want to work around people that are doing well, that are inspiring them. It's really tough to inspire other people when you have no money in your gas tank or have no money to put gas in your tank. Trust me, I have lived there probably more than any of you ever will, I hope. It is tough to invest in real estate with no money. You know, I love some of the late night talk to people that, you know, say, oh, you know, buy this DVD, and, you know, they're not even DVDs anymore. Come join this web group and you're going to make all this money with no money down. Okay. Real estate investing has to have money. You got to have money to get into real estate investing. You know, I got my license to invest in real estate. I did not think I would love the retail end of it, of selling other people homes. I loved it. Luckily I did, because I didn't come into this with any money. I didn't come into the industry with any money. So you have to have money to invest in real estate. And yeah, you have to have money to invest in your retirement. What a shock, right? So that is what I want you to work on with me tonight then, is where are we going with our business? So I have a thing called a business tracking 4x4. Let's go into that. What does it look like? Oh no, I knew Nick would bring up Wise Agent, wouldn't he? Well, of course, I'm obsessed with it. I need to know, you need to know, but I would like to know with you, how many people are in your Wise Agent CRM? Okay. If you got nobody in the CRM, we got a problem. That was my problem the first decade of the business. I'd meet a lot of people. I'd do some deals. No CRM. No CRM whatsoever. No shade to any other real estate company, but the one that has the red book, well, it's going to be a little shady. The one that has the red book, you know, great book. No tools to support it. So we at Exit Strategy, I talked to you about the blue book, which is the roadmap to a profitable $30 million real estate business. That is the core trainings book, the roadmap to a profitable $30 million real estate business. They are obsessed with you getting people into your CRM. That company doesn't have their own CRM either. So I said, I'm going to go out and find one. All you have to do is put people into the right categories, meet people, put them in the right categories. I'm going to show you next week, or remind you, for those of you that really are going to these Mondays every Monday night, you don't need to double data enter. You just need to put them in your phone and have the phone sync up. Make sure that they're getting your digital business card or texting for that, because then the phone number goes into CRM. All of this is not rocket science. You just need to implement. So I need you to track how many people are in each one of these categories in Wise Agent. And if there's not a lot, that's okay. We have to start somewhere, and we always have to be building from there, because what do we know? Every single contact in that database could at some point, God forbid, unsubscribe, pass away, or meet another realtor, AKA have someone in their family get their license and decide to use them. So we always have to be growing our database. We always have to be deepening our relationships with our contacts, because we know that some contacts sadly will disappear from our database in one way or another. So that's the top quadrant. Notice, and I'm not going to say that any of these are unimportant, but we kind of start with the most important at the top, and then we go to the right, because that's how you're allegedly supposed to read. I don't know. I'm left-handed, so I think sometimes I go this way. But then secondly, commissions and closings. I want you to track your transactions so far for the year. And if it's the beginning of the year when you watch this, then go back to last year. But I need you to know, are you buyer heavy? Are you seller heavy? Are you debt heavy? What's going on in your business? What's going on in your business? And yes, I want to know how much you've made in residuals this year. And if you don't know how to pull up this information, I'm more than happy to show you how to do that. We can do that during Q&A at the end. And I can just literally walk you through mine. Buyers, sellers, GCI, residuals. That is the lifeblood of your business. But your lifeblood starts with the contacts. Quadrant 1, the top quadrant. The second thing is the commissions and closings. Now, here's where we get into some stuff that's going to make you uncomfortable. What did you do last month in order to ensure food is on your table next month? Did I say that right? Yes, I did. Because last month, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days out, I can always tell when I've gotten tired in the year, because 4 months later, I'm broke. And I say broke now is a different broke than 10 years ago for me and some of you, and you'll laugh if you've been here a while. But I can tell when you are getting tired. A, you don't coach with me, but B, you don't do the basics. And here they are at the bottom. Just sold card sent. If you had a sale, you need a just sold card, buyer or seller. How many wise texts did you send out? Now, I can't go in and I can't look in your database. Only you can do that, because that's your database, not mine, even though I bought you the CRM. But I can tell how many times you've logged into your CRM, how many wise texts you sent, even though I don't know what they said or who they were to or who's in your database, but it tells me how many people you sent wise texts to. I don't know how many people you mailed stuff to. I can't go in your mailbox and see what's in your outbox. But did you send any farming mailers last month? You should. You should be farming. You should be prospecting. Did you do any letters of the heart, evidence of success? Did you ask for any reviews, any added reviews? I want to know your total number of reviews, because that is a piece of your collateral, whether you know it or not. And then on the left-hand side, how many CMAs did you do last month? You know, if they were all in Cloud CMA, you can just open up right there and show me. Open houses. How many open houses did you do last month? How many events did you attend or host? You don't need to host any events if you're with us, in my opinion. I think you need to just promote the ones that we have. But you are darn well welcome to do your own in addition to that. And how many, though, did you attend? All I do is sit at the events that we have, and I don't naturally network. I don't go to birthday parties. I don't go to weddings. I don't go to funerals. I don't go to anything. Guess what? I'm slowly getting out of touch. Slowly getting out of touch. So how many events did I host? Did I promote? Did I attend? And no, that is not realtor events. No, that is not industry events, guys. That is consumer database events, non-realtor events, okay? How many new contacts did I have in the last 30 days? New contacts, not old contacts. How many new people did I put in? That is a direct reflection of the number of events I went to or hosted, the number of open houses I did, the number of listing appointments, aka CMAs I did. A listing appointment doesn't necessarily mean you had to be at the house. Sometimes it is a Zoom meeting. I just did a Zoom meeting for a listing appointment today. A Zoom meeting. Client had no power. Goes, well, do you still want to do this? I said, absolutely, I still want to do it. Go to a library. CMAs last month. So communications, I want you to track your communications. You could even add in there, really, buyer pre-approvals. How many buyers did you get pre-approved last month? How many buyers did you get pre-approved last month? So those are the tracking pieces. Those are the tracking pieces. You have a copy of that in your inbox if you were with us. Now, let's get to I think the most important one, strategically last, the lead sources. This is where I feel like our business plans have gotten a little one-dimensional. I wanted to push you back out to 4 dimensions. Amanda, our graphic designer that we have for each one of you for free, Amanda and I were texting back and forth today about next week's thing on lead funnels. And she goes, there's a graphic. She goes, I really like that graphic. And I said, oh, the lead funnel graphic. And she goes, I didn't do that. I said, I think this was before you. And it was literally a funnel. And it had 3 funnels. And it said, these are the 3 sources of leads. This was an old one. And so now I have it as 4. Now I have it as 4 because I think our businesses have changed since the pandemic. If you are in your old school outline business plan, there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm noticing is a lot of us are referral heavy. Some people are prospecting heavy, which is nothing wrong with being heavy on prospecting. But you've got to break it down into the different areas and then figure out which area you're missing. So, for example, I get a lot of referrals. That is a blessing of being around this business for 24 years and doing a fairly decent job with most of my clients. That is one of the 4 funnels. If you are only a referral-based agent, you're missing out on some extra lead. Do you want more money? Sure, we all do, right? Referrals are only one of the funnels. You've got to the right, twist your neck, aggregators and paid leads. Paid leads was the funnel before. Aggregators, I added to that. What is an aggregator? Well, if you're not an exit, I'm not going to give you a whole lot of detail on that because we got some secret stuff we do. But I will give you the basics of it. Think of like Redfin Partner Agent Program. Okay? The things that you do that you pay for lead-wise. So if you're on Zillow leads, that's paid leads. If you are on Redfin as a partner agent, that's a paid lead. You don't pay up front, but they aggregate traffic and then sell you the lead by charging a referral fee after the closing. Nothing wrong with a referral fee at closing. Please just charge me a referral fee. I don't want you to run my credit card, right? Okay, so that is aggregators and paid leads. If you've got a ton of referrals, why not add paid leads? If you're only getting paid leads, I'm questioning whether you're doing a good job, because why wouldn't you get referrals after the closing, right? Okay, thoughts there. Prospecting. An old school seasoned agent like the one that you're having to listen to right now, chances are has stopped prospecting as much, and shame on us, because did we want more money? Yes, we all do. Why would you stop prospecting? Because it takes time and we're quote unquote so busy. That's why I wanted to push you guys out of just the outline style and into a quadrant. So you have to sit there and go, man, I think everything in that outline, those 4 or 5 specific objectives. Remember when I said specific objectives year after year, please give me 4 to 5 specific objectives. I'm asking you now to go back to that outline and see where those 4 to 5 specific objectives fits. And if you're referral heavy, add some prospecting. If you're prospecting heavy, keep doing it, but add paid leads or aggregators or referrals, or twist your neck to the left, friends, channel accounts. This is core. This is the core training rearing its beautiful head and screaming at me. Channel accounts are people or entities that have lots of leads to give you, but you're not paying for them. Now, I'm going to stop you when you say, oh, I want to be an REO listing agent. It's not likely. And you know, I don't like to tell you things that are negative, but right now, number one, people are not losing their homes to foreclosure. They're going into short sale if they're in trouble, and then they're selling them because they've been educated as to not to lose their home to foreclosure, and the market is pretty darn positive still. So REOs in general, by the way, it is very tough to be a listing agent. I have been an REO listing agent, and I only got 1 account over the years. So do not waste your time with REOs. Focus on short sales and talk to short sale attorneys, etc. Developers and builders, are we going to be tomorrow representing, high-rise developers? Maybe not. But if you get in with these people when they're doing small deals, look up, I've got a subdivision. Now I've got another listing from that builder. These people start off a lot of times as small fix and flips. They do one or two properties, and then the next thing you know, they're doing something else. I have a person that bought a couple Airbnb units one at a time through me. Now they're doing multi-million-dollar new construction projects. Unfortunately, not here in Chicago, but they're thinking about doing it here too. They've become a regional entity. If I had not worked with them when they were chasing land and little deals, they wouldn't be giving me the stuff they've been giving me. So they're channel accounts. They're what we call whales in the old school world. Divorce attorneys, probates and estates, business owners. Wow. How simple is that? Get in with a couple good business owners, dentists, doctors, etc., that know a lot of people. Remember what I said. It's not that you pay for the leads. You don't pay for the leads when they're a channel account or a whale. They are simply someone or an entity that knows a lot of people or has a lot of deals to do. So that is a really tough quadrant. That's why I put that on the left. But I want you to be aware of that quadrant, because some of the people you see winning awards happen to have a channel account or two that really drives the majority of their business. And my flaw or criticism of those people when they sit down in a coaching environment is that the minute something goes away, for example, my one REO contract was with one asset management company. They fed me. They put a lot of food on my table for a year and a half, but they dealt with only the worst of the subprime lenders. So what happened? Those were the properties that went into default first. Those are the properties that went to foreclosure first. I ate good off that in 2000, end of 2009, 2010. By 2011, my table was not looking real great from that one channel account. If that is my only source of business, just like if I'm only working one source of paid leads or only doing open houses, if I'm only, I'm going to be broke the minute that lead source dries up, and eventually they all do. Let me say that again. Eventually they all do. I have a wonderful friend who worked as a legal recruiter. Let me tell you how much money that was for me. That was great. Well, you know what? That person isn't a legal recruiter anymore. They got a different job in the legal community, and that lead source dried the heck up. If you are focused on one source of leads, it will be gravy, but the gravy runs out. So I want to stress to you, as you kind of absorb everything we talked about tonight and think about where you need to go, this is the baseline for every other part of the multiple income streams. If you are not doing business as a realtor at a significant level, it is very hard to do what? Attract other agents, invest in real estate, or plan for your retirement, which are the other three quadrants of the four quadrants I'm stressing to you to not just focus on commissions. Isn't that weird? A coach telling you, an owner of a brokerage telling you not just focus on commissions. I'm telling you there's more to your real estate future, but you won't get very much traction in the other three quadrants if your primary quadrant, going back to the money, if your primary quadrant of commissions is sick, then it is, and sick in a bad way. Think of it sick, not in a great way. Sick, children's slang. Sick in the old school way, like, oh, that's terrible. If your commissions aren't great, we need to start there. And then we're going to go to the right and through on the rest of this. So that's a lot of content, and that's a lot of thought that I'm asking you to put into your business. But before I break for questions, I want you to note that the real estate market slowed a little bit. It's certainly not died. It slowed a little bit. This is a good time, not only because we're over halfway through the year, but because you may be slightly slower than you were 2 to 3 months ago. Why not put the time back into your business? Those of us that have run around like chickens with their heads cut off the last 2.5 years, because the pandemic ended up in some ways to be a strange blessing to our real estate business because of the low interest rates. We're all kind of going, wow, I stopped sending out just solds. I stopped sitting my own open houses. I stopped entering people into my database or doing a newsletter or sending out the event invites if you're at our office and you're, engaged in the events that we do for you, for the consumer. Where are we missing something? That is what I want you to start thinking about as early as tonight. But this is going to be an ongoing conversation I'm going to keep coming back to for eternity if you're going to be with us, because you're missing out on a lot of the business if you're not thinking about the multiple quadrants, not only of your own business, but of your future income streams. So I'm off my soapbox for a minute. I'm happy to answer questions. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have questions. And let's see where we go from here. So go ahead and anybody got a question they want to ask?
Hey, Nick, it's Heather.
Hey, Heather.
I have a question for basically the deals that you've closed.
Yes.
So in my Gmail, I have a folder for deal close reports for each year, and that's basically how I track mine. Do you keep, I know all of our paper goods are like in dot loop, and that's how everything is basically stored. Do you also keep a paper trail for your stuff, or do you not?
A paper trail for my stuff. Can you be more specific?
Just like for your deal close, like I know some agents, they have folders for each client and everything is stored kind of like, in their file, like their paper trail. I don't do that because I feel like it's just too much. But then I feel when I talk to other agents, they have their files for each client, but I feel like my file is like dot loop, I guess you could
Your
say.
file should be dot loop.
Okay.
So because dot loop syncs to Wise Agent. So I'm going to call it old school. I used to have manila folders. Actually, they're still around hanging out in secret places. I still have paper and some things. Dot loop should be, in my opinion, you can do whatever you want as long as legal and ethical, guys. But dot loop has all the information on the client, it should have, if you've done it correctly, all the other people that were on the file, and it's in the cloud. So your assistant or team members can use it. Your CRM syncs up to it. And then remember, Heather, for you, I think the other piece of this, though, is that isn't in dot loop, that could be I think, asset to you would be the pay log. So the core training, and it's right in our coaching blog, has the pay log. And the pay log, you can do it by month or you can do it for the year. And it tracks where all your deals came from in terms of here's the name of the person and here's the source of the deal. I think that would be important to know where your deals are coming from. And that's not going to be on a piece of paper or in dot loop. Now you can source them in Wise Agent, but I'm not 100% sure that that's the best print out look at where did my leads come from report. So I would encourage you to use the pay log as a way to track where your deals are coming from, because it would be great the next time. And by the way, for those of you guys that don't know, Heather's a top agent, amazing team leader, and is living the over 100% commission life. So she's exactly where I would love to see more of you at. She is what we would call, going back to our slides, because I'm actually did slides tonight, is it that she would be what we would call that entrepreneur. So she is that entrepreneur level agent. So as an entrepreneur level agent, I want her to start thinking where these other, where's that residual bonus, those referrals, where's that money going to go? I also want her, though, to figure out where the money's coming in from. So Heather, dot loop is fine, but I want you to start tracking where each deal's coming from and using the pay log to do that so that you can figure out where we need to grow, going back to like the leads piece. If you're getting all referrals, where can we go with prospecting, channel accounts, and aggregators to build beyond that? So that's a great question and a long-winded answer. Who else has a question?
Okay, I have one more. Don't kill me since nobody's talking.
I love it. I love it.
Okay.
We got a great mastermind of entrepreneurs tonight. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so I'm still always trying to get my stuff together. The pay log, I think I will check that out and maybe I'll do like a one-on-one with you to maybe help me just walk me through that really quick, but I'm sure it's easy. I can figure it out. Um, the other question is for dot loop. This is what I'm really bad about. And I probably shouldn't even say that I do this, but when you enter your client's information, I only enter the first and last name in the email. That's really bad. Do you do like their number, their address, like everything about that client? Honestly, or
Like
is
the
just the first and last name and email okay?
what would you like the best practices answer, or would you like the real life answer? I think you want the real life one,
I
right?
want the real life answer,
So
please.
here's the real life answer, but you're not gonna 100% like it, some of you guys. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my screen share for the moment so you can see my orange face because I spray tanned earlier. All right, and Tabor, I see your dog in the background. Hi guys, I haven't seen any of the faces yet. So here's the reality on that. No, in dotloop, I don't. Well, first of all, for those of us that have teams, I don't even do a lot in dotloop anymore. Tabron, wave Tabron, for those of you guys that don't know Tabron is on my team in addition to already being halfway to his cap on his own deals for the year. So Tabor does a lot of the dotloop stuff for me, but when I do use it, and when Tabron disappears on these luxury vacations, that's when I have to go back in. I'm like, oh wow, this tool is somewhat user friendly. Is that I put in first name, last name, email address, maybe a cell phone number, if that. Here's why. They're already in, because they're a client, right? Aren't they already in my phone?
Yes.
Aren't they already hopefully in Wise Agent? Well, if they're in your phone and your phone's synced up to Wise Agent, it's already there. I live through my phone. This is no criticism of any product out there, but if it doesn't work sync directly to my phone, I don't want to use it. So my phone syncs to Wise Agent. My phone has all kinds of information on, birthdays, pet names, cheating as to who I can't remember who the fiance is this week or whatever, the story is on the person. I have all of that stuff in my phone, which syncs up to Wise Agent. So no, I don't sit there and double data enter into dotloop. That's my answer. You may have some other people on here that want to go into that do use dotloop, and then maybe it syncs up to, because it syncs up to Wise Agent. Maybe they're using dotloop first, but the reality is I meet people on the street. I build relationships with them. My phone has so much information on them. By the time they get to a contract with me, everything's already been in the phone for a while. I'm not putting a lot in dotloop because it's already in my phone.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let me see here because I've got the screen share off. How often do you suggest we review our business plan? I think you should review it monthly. I think you should review it monthly, at the very least quarterly. But I think at the end of each month, when I look at a good month, I'm like, okay, that was great. What went right? What could have been better? In a slow month, I'm going, okay, nothing went on. What do I need to do? You go back to the business plan before you go anywhere else. You go back to the business plan before you go anywhere else. And I think a great reminder of looking at your business plan is when you schedule coaching with me. If you don't look at your business plan before you coach with me, maybe we're coaching on a specific topic. Like a lot of you right now we're either in Wise Agent. I was in Zenlist with a couple of people today. I was in dotloop speaking of dotloop last week with somebody. I was in Rent Spree. I've been all over the place with you guys in tools. But if it's not a tool specific coaching, it's more like, hey, my phone's not ringing enough. I'm not getting enough leads. That goes right back to the business plan. That goes right back to the business plan. All right, let's go. Another question that Tracy asked, you'd like to know the transaction management process and a transaction coordinate. You mean a coordinator? Okay. You're not going to love the answer to this, Tracy. So I use dotloop as my transaction management system. A transaction coordinator, in my humble opinion, a transaction coordinator you need when you get to 100,000 gross commission income. I think until you get there, unless you are a part-time agent really struggling with the transaction process, I question whether you want to start spending that money. That's taking money out of your pocket into a transaction coordinator's pocket. That
It wasn't really that. It was just like, how do we go through each step of the process to do the transaction correctly from beginning to end? If not with an exit process, then just a regular process.
Oh, great. So you would follow the new buyer checklist and the new seller checklist that I have for you. And they're also in Dotloop under the transaction milestones.
Gotcha.
So just look in there. I do want to answer maybe that wasn't Tracy's question 100%. We do have someone, and I won't mention their name, but they are actively talking with me that are at the office about being, we've actually had 2 people talk about it, but one person, they've done this professionally for years as a transaction management person, a transaction coordinator, a TC in the industry. I will again say to you guys, I question, first of all, as a new agent, it's highly inappropriate. And I said this to the person that wants to be a transaction, offer transaction coordination services. I love the idea of a TC. As a new agent, you are, I think, doing a huge disservice to yourself and your clients by, oh, I don't want to do part of it. I don't want to learn part of the deal. No. You're going to learn the deal. You're going to set up your own inspections. You're going to set up your own attorney review. I want you to learn the transaction. As you get busy, yes, a transaction coordinator can be wonderful. That's what core teaches us. But a transaction coordinator, really, you've got to make sure that you can afford one and that your business is in the right place, which goes back to where's your business plan, where your leads coming from, and do you have every single lead source figured out that you want to work with? Because I'm going to challenge you, if you get a transaction coordinator, the time you save should go back into prospecting. Otherwise, you are at a net zero because you're taking money out of your pocket in order to have that transaction coordinator there. Trust me from experience, because I went out and partied when I got a transaction coordinator. I have my first team member. They were licensed. They could show houses. They would do the back end of the transaction. And I went and hung out somewhere else. Did not put the time back into prospecting. And guess what? I made less that year. That was 2011. The only year I didn't win a sales award, and it was the only year I got a couple not so great reviews. You know why? Because the transaction coordinator did some of my work and they didn't do it that great. Not to say the transaction coordinators aren't great. A good one is great, but that's a long answer. Long answer. But I do like the idea, Tracy, that you're going down the route of systems. Dotloop can be a great transaction coordinator. We use it. It's kind of like your brain. You use about 3 to 5% of it max. We're using probably 5% max of our Dotloop system. And Natasha, yes, we are going to talk to, that's the person. Yes, Natasha. Natasha's name drop Robert. Robert is amazing as a transaction coordinator. We will be bringing up some more ideas on that. Guys, do not get distracted tonight by transaction coordinator as an idea. Please focus first and foremost on lead generation, on the business planning that I'm talking about this evening. We'll absolutely have a wonderful full discussion on transaction coordinators for those of you getting that busy soon. In the meantime, let's also see what Tabron said something to Heather about direct contact information. Okay, so Tabron does it more than I do, and good job, Tabron, in Dotloop. So there's one other thing that I want to go over with you guys, and then we'll see if there's any other questions. There is a great new thing that we're doing for you. Laura Bell is on with us tonight, and I wanted to share this with you because we're always trying to do something that will help you. It is about making more money. I said, does everybody want to make more money? Yes, of course we all do. It's also about smart spending. And one of the things that I've noticed over the past year was that some people would have beautiful photos and other people would have not so great photos. I would go into coaching calls with you And when I say you, I mean as a group, certain people I get, we talk about, well, does this need a price reduction? And I'm like, my God, before we get into price reductions, who took these photos? These look like a serial killer took them. And that sometimes the property needs some help, but not always. It's, it can be a better photographer. So Laura Bell and I have been working on a project for you guys. So we've talked about it, and we now have the link for you. We will go ahead and pay, me and the people in my pocket. We will go ahead and pay for your photos through Laura Bell. Laura Bell is a professional photographer who also happens to be a licensed agent with us. She owns LB Commercial Photography. I have been using Laura on some photos, but we also then went to Zillow and we said, we want a 360 Ricoh camera from you. We want the ability to do floor plans and a 3D tour that the agents can use, and we're going to feed them to Zillow. Long story short, we got all that done. We got all that figured out. So you guys at Exit Strategy now have the ability to have your photos taken for free. Okay. All you need to do is use the link that Laura Bell is going to type into the chat. And we're going to obviously announce this to the whole office. We wanted to give you a little bit of a prize tonight, because if you are really working on all four of those lead channel sources, that I talked to you about, you should be getting more listings. I do not ever want you to feel like you don't have the money, if you're a newer agent or a struggling agent, to not have properties properly marketed. Now, you can still, if you like Virtuance or VHT or VizHome or whoever, and you want to spend the money on them, that is fine. Run out and do it. I started to run into some scheduling issues with a couple of our vendors. And also I started adding up how much I was spending for 35 photos, less than 35, because Laura's offering you up to 35. The Tabor's like, no, we didn't get 35 photos.
You got 10
Less
photos.
And not always the best either. Plus a floor plan, plus a 3D tour. We're paying for that for you. Now, I really hope that you guys will use Strategic Title and some of the other vendors that I bring in front of you that either I happen to own an interest in, or that are nice enough that they sponsor some of our events. Whatever that is, Laura Bell is a great photographer. If you need a photographer that's reliable and tools that I endorse, and I'll pick up the tab, you now have one less excuse to go out and prospect for more listings. Okay, you now have one less excuse. And it also will bring you one more tool in your arsenal to say, look at what I've done. When you close a deal and you did a great job with that listing, you should be able to show that marketing off. If you had cell phone pictures, if you had a mess, in terms of the marketing, you can't really advertise that, can you? I'm able to walk out, flip open a laptop, or show somebody on a Zoom, here's some past marketing that I've done. The first time you get a listing, I don't care where that listing is. I want to actually show you real quick, and then we'll see if there's any other questions, and then we will go to the rest of our evenings individually. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen one more time. And what I want to show you is the Laura did a listing for me. And I got to tell you, not my highest price listing ever. When we talk about business plans, I always laugh. There is a competitor that loves to do I want to make $1 million, I want to make $100,000. So I've got to sell this number of houses at this price. I call that the economic model. Comes out of the red book, if you can guess which competitor I'm talking about. Nothing wrong with saying that you want to do a certain number of deals divided by the price point that you think is the next call in your inbox. I got news for you guys. We all know people of all economic backgrounds and all location areas. So the idea that every call that's going to come in is $250,000 buyers and sellers is a joke. That is not right. You cannot do the economic model and really get anywhere. I like business plans that have a prospecting model. And when you prospect, you will get people from all backgrounds and all areas. And so I got a call from someone that needed to sell their house in the burbs. Well, this very nice woman lived in the property for a number of years and then rented it out. And her last tenants trashed it. I can't tell you how bad it was when I walked in there. I felt so bad. I drove out to Round Lake, met her. She had tears in her eyes. And I'm like, good luck, Laura Bell. Good luck photographing this and making it cute. Laura did a wonderful job. 32 total photos. Now, I got to tell you, I can't imagine taking 32 photos of this place, but Laura did a really good job. And the more photos you have, even when it's not sexy, you can do different angles. Look at the way that Laura did all the different angles. The more photos you have, the higher it shows on the listing websites like Zillow, like Redfin. Why is that? Because their algorithm thinks it's a better property. That's why I do a lot of photos everywhere. Okay, so there's all the different photos. Then there's a 3D tour and there's a floor plan. Okay, all of this stuff is paid for now if you use Laura. So that is my gift to you this evening, to encourage you to prospect, because you have more tools than most anybody else. You've got Zen lists that you should be sending to sellers as well as buyers. You've got a CRM that works like no other if you just use it. And you have a coach that will annoy you to death and be here as long as you are willing to be here. So that's my presentation. That's an hour. I said we go 45 minutes. We went over, but I think you had some great questions, guys. You gave me inspiration to do a transaction coordinator training later this month with Robert Stevens. So he and I have been talking about doing one. Now we'll put it on there for you guys to see if you need a transaction coordinator once you have a ton of leads. Hint, hint. And I think you guys had some great private questions in the chat that I will answer directly to a few of you as well. Do you guys have anything else that publicly you want to ask?
Yes, one more. God, I don't ever ask these many questions.
I love that you're asking this many questions. You're a star. So you're
one more. I'm sorry. Okay. Is there a way that I can, because I really want to do the Project X and work on it, is there a way that I can go like either .loop or MLS, somewhere where I can print up all of my clients so I can have it to look at and kind of funnel through how I got each lead so I can keep track of that?
I would love that. That would be amazing. So if you go, so there's a couple different ways to do that. And for everybody else that's still with us, and if you need to drop off, that's fine. But everybody else is still with us. If you don't have every single one of your past clients in your CRM, Heather just asked the golden question. How do you figure out where they are? Well, you go in the MLS to start. I'd say that's the best place to start. And you click on My Listings and Transactions. You guys can still see my screen, I think. And then you go under Closed. And that is every single transaction you've ever had. Now, it's not going to tell you who the people are. So you can get the people through .loop. You can get the people through .loop. I would say, though, for a couple of us that have been here a long time, or the rebels that refuse to use the tools I buy for you, like .loop Premium and that use DocuSign, the MLS is kind of master domain of everything that's ever been in the MLS. .loop, and I'm not going to open up my .loop because I have been told by YouTube that when I give out private information, like people's cell phone numbers, they take the video down. So I guess some people don't like their cell phone numbers out there. I don't know, mine's everywhere. But go into .loop, and then you go into your closed files in .loop, and you've got all the information on everybody in there as well. So between the two places, you've got all the information that I think you need. If you are talking about rentals that weren't in the MLS, stuff that was off market and maybe you didn't use .loop, I'm thinking if you were old school and, you know, maybe it was before exit. I don't know where it is if it was before exit and it wasn't in .loop, you know, not sure. If once you were at exit, every single one of your past transactions, every closed deal you've ever had at exit, by the way, is in your report card. So I'm going to open that up because this is only my information. So YouTube, if you're listening, you can't be mad. I'm going to go into my stuff. And then you have every single past transaction of yours, at least the basics on that transaction. If you can't remember, you know, what deals you closed, go into the MLS, go into .loop, And then if they're leases that weren't in the MLS or like a pocket listing, I'm just trying to think of anything else that wouldn't be in the MLS because all my stuff is in the MLS. Hint, hint, for those of you guys that like the private listing network. Go into reports on exitrealty.com and everything you've ever closed at Exit, sale, lease, referral is in that. All right. So if you go into my reports, and then you've got all your closed deals in there, every single one, sales, leasing, all of it. So you can go into, see where it says your deals report. That's every single deal closed. We don't track pending. We do not track pending. We just track closed deals. So every single deal closed you've ever done at Exit. If you need a real quick reminder of where you're at for the year, go into your report card. And this is where, when I was mentioning tracking your numbers, this is a quick way to track your numbers for the year. Also, did you sponsor any agents yet this year? If you're new, this form is kind of depressing, and I get it. If you are not new, I'm gonna push you on looking at this card regularly, okay? It gives you your ranking within the office, tells you how many people are actively breathing and paying their dues, tells you how much you've made for the year, listings and sales. If you are buyer heavy, I'm going to push you to use these tools to get more listings that we're talking about, all right? If you are seller heavy, where are your buyers? Where are you educating your social media sphere, everybody else? You shouldn't have just sellers. Sellers are great. You also need buyers. And then if you want to know your residuals, who you sponsored in the company, if you're that big you've forgotten, you can go in and you can figure out all the different, your recruits. But more importantly, how much have you made this year in residuals? How much have you made this year in residuals? If it's not great, we can work on it. If it's not great and you've got people, you need to be talking to those people. You need to get them on Money Mondays. You need to get them into coaching with me. If you do need to just figure out how much you made this year, you just go back to the beginning of the year and you know how much your cap is. You know how much your cap is, guys. You know what split you're at and what the cap is. Do the math. And my goal would be that you get into a mode like Heather, who asked the question, that Heather's got more, she's made more in residuals than she's paid into the company. She's made more in residuals than you paid in the company. And guys, you can see that bottom line. I'm not even going to say the number. It is possible for you to make well into the six figures just by bringing people to the table. It's an introduction. It's like a referral. Refer somebody to me, bring people into the company. And by the way, be nice and help them, mentor them. You know, sometimes it's not about the company or the tools. Sometimes they just need somebody to show them the way. So Heather, you've done a great job on that. You've brought some amazing people into the company. Just can't thank you enough for being here. Hope that helped you guys out tonight. I will look at the balance of questions after I turn off the Zoom. Appreciate you guys very much. This was simulcast to YouTube tonight, so you don't have to worry about me going to bed and not uploading it. It is already on YouTube, and it will be in the playlist Money Mondays. Have a great night. See you later in the week if you're coaching with me or if you're at any of our events. And otherwise, next Money Mondays is Monday the 1st, next Monday at 8 p.m. Central. Bye-bye.